And I love reading. Like, I feel like for me, it's something about having a book physically in my hand where I'm like going turning the pages. It's like I can feel an accomplishment, like going through the chapters. I'm like, you can underline stuff, things that stick out to you. And then in a nutshell, at the same time, it just feels like I'm focused in that moment. Whereas though, even if I'm listening to something audio, my attention could be pulled away because I can be texting, but I'm listening, so I might miss something. When I'm reading, I'm like focused on the pages.
No, I definitely get that. You know, the thing about that, I actually haven't gotten to the point yet with the audiobooks that I do it when
Doing something else, like multitasking.
Well, only time I've done it is like I'm doing dishes or something. Because I don't give a fuck about this activity. Like I'm not gonna be texting while I'm doing it or just laying in my bed.
But you're gonna multitask.
Doing dishes or doing laundry because this mundane activity is not gonna,
housewife. You hear him?
Fair. But this not. But to take up, my real focus is what I'm hearing. Same when I've listened to a YouTube video, so that works well. But if I'm driving, doing some random shit in the house. But if I'm just laying down, like I'm not gonna treat it like a movie. Cause I know I'm not gonna really get my full attention. I'm gonna be on my phone, be on fucking social media.
I just realized Q in his soft era.
The difference is
hold on. My man
consistent.
You wake up in the morning, get yourself together, take your daughter to school, run to Target or like some type of store,
yoga, Pilates,
do yoga, Pilates, come home, do the dishes, separate the laundry, listen to your audiobooks or your podcast, either order takeout or your day or start dinner, and then your fiance comes home after a hard day at work. And then, that's your day. So you're in your soft era. I respect it.
To defend the smut, I'm really in my king era, which I've always been in. Because I did this shit before I didn't have a job. I had to do this shit every day.
He said, I did that and work.
Facts. Now I'm looking at, like I've always said, I'm looking at Housewives like, y'all don't fucking do shit because this ain't nothing. Like, oh my God.
He said, I tested the product.
Facts. Like, I got to clean the house and take the kid to school. Okay, what the fuck? Like, who gives a fuck?
And what do you do with the other 7 hours?
Literally, like, I'm like, the fuck?
But we not about to slight the housewives because I feel like, I was always an advocate of.
Absolutely slighting the
I was always an advocate. But saying, like, I feel like it's sufficient. Like, I've seen how strenuous it could get,
That word
but
is
I would
crazy.
never.
Strenuous is crazy.
Well, it depends on how young the kids is, how many kids it is, how active you are in the kids' activities. Like, are you schooling them when they there? Like, that takes energy. So I can't.
Schooling.
But it. Like, you know how, like, some parents do educational activities.
Some do.
But he said yours don't.
I would say most don't. Like, most ain't, yo.
So sit down, take this iPad.
Yeah, like, what? Like, I ain't giving people that much credit. Like, all right, let's just count the apples.
All right, so let's pivot a little bit, man. The cleanse, I feel like ultimately the fact that we both were in a time of transition and we even tried to complete it and we didn't do like certain things, or you picked up a new habit, I give us our credit for that, because in a nutshell, it's like we could have just like, yo, let's just pause it until we get through this,
for sure.
this tumultuous process, because we both literally was going through huge transition, and we probably could unpack. It's crazy because I do want to start to get more in like depth with like certain transitions or time periods in which we in, because I want the audience to be able to know in real time, like, yo, these are the things that, like, we don't just say we want y'all to get better. These are real life things, like losing a job and like me now being out of a relationship. Like, these are real things that like we really go through and that really affect our real life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't want people to think that it's like, oh, they just get up there and talk about these. They're like, nah, we deal with it, and then we find humorous ways to talk about it and educate and entertain in the same space. So,
and whether you at an up point in your life or a down moment, the thing that's the common thread is be 1% better.
Be 1% better, yeah, because like, nobody's perfect, and life is never going to not life. Like, even in like our last episode, life be lifing, but it's like you got to learn how to live with life while life is lifing. And I feel like that's some of the things that I want y'all to understand, especially for those of y'all that's watching, is like, we deal with things on a day-to-day, but, we make sure that we show up and get a little bit better through everything that we deal with, so that we can still show up and, show y'all how to deal with things. You know what I mean? So, some of the things that I want to talk about is you now being out of the job market, you now into the entrepreneur space a little bit more. You still in the market for a job, but you're not. So, like, what has life been like for Q?
Yeah, so just for the record, I left the job. It was an amicable split, as they say.
It was a mutual agreement.
Yeah, mutual agreement.
You sound like women when a nigga leave them and they be like, yeah, we broke up. Like, you ever notice that? Like, if they leave you, it's specified. Like, yeah, I had to leave him, da-da-da. But if they get left, I always say, I know if a woman got left or if she did the leaving, because if she say, yeah, we broke up, all right, he left. But if she say, yeah, I had to leave him because of this, all right, she left. So,
because she going to leave with smut.
Yeah.
I left him, girl, because
But if she got left, it's always, we just felt like it would be in our best interest. It was always a mutual agreement.
Fair, you got me.
So, we know he got fired.
No. No, it's funny. The one thing I will say is, as a person that's had to start getting higher positions in work environment, shit like that, where I start hiring people and shit like that, and into the company I got now. One thing I've always will echo and champion and shout from the mountaintops is fuck these jobs. I don't give a fuck what they paying, what they doing, how comfortable you are. 9 times out of 10, eventually they will try to fuck you, and it's gonna be whatever. So I would look at.
Tried to fuck you?
Yeah, it was a woman. Yeah, and I wasn't going for it.
I thought you told me you worked for a white Jew. you told me you worked for a Jew. Wait, can I say that?
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna cancel the show. The show's over now. It's officially done. Like,
rebuked.
Yeah, but no, like at the end of the day, the job is gonna try to fuck you over or whatever. And I always feel like whether you need to always find a way to protect yourself, whether it's like get the job before they get rid of you, or just stand on whatever you're gonna stand on. So the point where I said I left is the shit was employing a bullshit ass company. It is what it is, whatever. So the whole time I was looking for a job regardless. But
he said, I'm gonna leave with smut too.
Yeah, I was gonna leave regardless. But then the person I fuck with at the company, they did something or whatever, and they tried to get me to manipulate the situation and kind of throw them under the bus and to keep me on board. So my point is, even bringing this up is I would never let a company manipulate me and try to compromise me and keep something over my head.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I will just leave.
Yeah.
Because it's never that deep, because you're not going to have you put leverage over me or power. At the end of the day, you already got enough leverage because you pay me.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that, I just can't fuck with or respect whatever. So that's my whole point about with job. I feel people oftentimes, again, we understand life be life and bills is bills, America's American capitalism. But in the day, I feel it's your prerogative. It should be your prerogative and attention to have. If you're gonna have a job, get the most from it.
Yeah, get the most from it.
Don't let them get the most from you.
Right? Yeah. No, I understand that. It's two different sides of the fence. I'm the employee. I mean the employer. So. It's like, we don't like people like you.
Yeah. And so to go into the side of the company, so, I actually do have a HR consultant company. If you're a business looking to get some HR revamping, go to the website. If you're an individual professional, need some insight on how to attack the market, get the most from it. To get some more insight, like I just mentioned, you can go to marquiscsinc.com to get more of that. It's also marquiscinc on Instagram. And to me, it gave me that time. Not that it was a plan.
Before, I worked with Q in his agency, so I just want to let y'all know like how my experience was. You know what y'all get yourselves into. It lasted a month.
But
he can't even say I'm smart though.
But super smart is crazy.
All right, go ahead.
But all I'm gonna say is, to me, I'm good. I can multitask things and do a bunch of different objectives at once. Shout out to the Tism power. But that time gave me enough time to really just lock in and get a lot of shit done or whatever.
I think it was necessary. I think that like sometimes people find themselves in spaces where they haven't made a decision, and then like universally the decision just get made divinely for them. And I feel like you always toyed. I felt like you was growing tired with having like overseer for a while because in our conversations, I could tell you was leaning that way, but I could also tell, like on a previous episode, I said, has being around me as an entrepreneur and working in the company we was doing, did that give you more like, insight to, I can really do this? And you was like slightly, but you kind of, but I truly feel like from witnessing the development, it probably has always been a thought. Like, I'm not saying that the thought came about recently. Probably was always a thought, but I feel like sometimes getting up front and up close and seeing how something is done, like, oh, this is way easier than I thought. This is way simpler. I feel like having that upfront insight. Not that this was your first time, because it could have been happening. But I feel like in this last, time frame, I feel like then this happened, and I felt like he was like, you know what, I'm pulling the trigger. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going for it because, like I said, I can already see the disdain in the conversation when talking about jobs. Like, man, I'm gonna just get what I can, and if I leave, and like, he was like, this. If I had this going on, I probably wouldn't be here. It's like, all right, he leaning more towards doing his own thing. But some people be needing that little nudge, and I feel like sometimes it'll just happen divinely. Like, so getting fired like was your breaking point. Like,
mutual agreement.
I guess, y'all broke up.
Yeah, we split the pets. I keep
we
the cat,
decided that it was best if we go our separate ways.